Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'du fa'uzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to our viewers and listeners. This is study number 19 of the Ramadan Daily Quran studies for the year 2020. I'm Zahid Aziz and I'm delivering these on behalf of the MD Anjuman Ishaat Islam Lahore, UK. In study 19, we'll begin a new topic which will then continue for a few studies. And the topic here is fundamentals of Islam. There's a lengthy verse in chapter 2, Surah Al-Baqarah, which goes through the fundamentals of Islam. So I'll be discussing various parts of it over in the next few studies. Although here I might recite the whole of that verse and then later on recite or give in translation parts of it. It is as follows. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Laysal birra an tuwallu wujuhakum qibala al-mashriqi wal maghribi walakinnal birra man amana billahi wal yawmil akhir wal malaikati wal kitabi wan nabiyyin wa atal mala ala hubbihi zawil qurba wal yatama wal masakina wa ibn as-sabil was-sa'ilina wa fir riqab wa aqama as-salata wa ata az-zakata wal mufuna bi akhdihim idha ahdu was-sabirina fil basa'i waz-dharra'i wa hina al-ba's ulaika allazina sadaqu wa ulaika humul muttaqun. Sadaqallahu azim. This is verse 177 of Surah Al-Baqarah. And it translates as, it is not righteousness that you turn your faces towards the east and the west, but righteous is one who believes in Allah and the last day and the angels and the book and the prophets and gives away wealth out of love for him to the near of kin and the orphans and the needy and the traveler and to those who ask and to set slaves free, and keeps up prayer and gives the due charity, gives the zakat, and the performers of their promise when they make a promise, and the patient in distress and affliction and in the time of conflict. These are they who are truthful, and these are they who keep their duty. Verse 177, as I've said, of chapter 2. Before this verse and after this verse, various rules and regulations of Islam are laid down which have a physical form. Before this verse, the matters discussed are the direction to be faced while praying, pilgrimage or Hajj and Umrah, and the topic of lawful and forbidden foods. After this verse, the matters discussed include punishment for murder, making wills, fasting, fighting battles in self-defense, and again, Hajj or pilgrimage. Although all these teachings have a spiritual aspect, of course, a Muslim carries them out physically and in a bodily form. And this verse, which I've read out at the beginning of this study, it occurs in the middle of the mention of such issues. And this is to draw attention to the importance of the spirit of religion, its fundamentals, and the wider perspective of following religion. It draws attention to these 3 points: the spirit of religion, its fundamentals, and its wider perspective. And it begins by saying that turning your face in one direction or another in prayer, for prayer, does not by itself make anyone a good or righteous person. Now, this may also be referring to a statement in an earlier verse in Surah Baqarah, where it was stated, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَشْرِقُ وَالْمَغْرِبُ فَأَيْنَمَا تُوَلُّوا فَثَمَّ وَجْهُ اللَّهِ. And Allah's is the east and the west. The east and the west belong to Allah. So whichever way you turn, that way lies Allah's purpose. Verse 115 of Surah Baqarah. Now this is taken to be a prophecy that Muslims would conquer lands east and west. Whichever way they would turn, Allah's purpose would take them that way successfully. And after the Holy Prophet ﷺ's death, whether Muslims turned east or west out of Arabia, they were victorious. So this verse 177, that is not righteousness, whether you turn your face to the east or the west, this indicates that conquest of lands and countries does not bring righteousness, which is the real aim of a Muslim. But more generally, it also emphasizes that the performance of any religious duty in the physical sense, by movements and postures of the body in prayer and pilgrimage, or by stopping eating and drinking during fasting, or reciting the Quran by the tongue, none of those physical actions by themselves bring the person to righteousness. So this verse then goes on to tell Muslims, what is righteousness? Now, although in translations we say, after it says it is not righteousness that you turn your face to the east and west, the translation says, but righteous is the one who believes these things or does these things. But righteous is the one. Literally, it says, but righteousness is the one who believes in Allah, etc., and spends his wealth out of love for him, etc. Righteousness is that one who does this. Now, obviously, a person cannot be righteousness. But this is a style of expression in Arabic whereby a person is called by the name of a quality when he exemplifies that quality, when he is a very good example of that quality. In the Quran, it has been stated about a certain wicked person that he was unrighteous conduct. Not that he did unrighteous conduct, he was unrighteous conduct. This is about the son of the Prophet Noah in chapter 11, verse 46. And what that means is that he was a prime example of unrighteous behavior. So what is meant here is that a person who fulfills the requirements of this verse 177, such a person becomes a living example of righteousness. That person is like righteousness itself. So first, it mentions the fundamental beliefs of Islam, that for a person to become righteous, he must hold those beliefs, which, if we go back and look at them, are belief in Allah and the last day and the angels and the book and the prophets. Now, in the Quran, the term belief doesn't mean only saying that I believe this, that I believe that a certain thing is true, I believe in Allah, I believe in the last day that it will happen. In the Quran, the term believing in something doesn't simply mean holding that belief or saying that it is true, but it requires you to act as if that belief is true. At one place in the Quran, addressing Muslims, It says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu aminu billahi wa rasulihi wal kitabil ladzi nazala ala rasulihi wal kitabil ladzi anzala min qabl. Addressing Muslims as, O you who believe, it says, O you who believe, believe in Allah and His Messenger and the book which He has revealed to His Messenger and the book which He revealed before. Chapter 4, verse 136. So what is the idea behind telling those who believe to believe? It is to say that belief must not just remain a statement by word of mouth that you believe something. O you who believe must not remain at that level of belief. O people O you people who believe, you must not remain just at that level of belief that you say we believe. They need to believe in the full sense, which is that they must hold those beliefs from their hearts, not just on their tongues, and they must act according to those beliefs. So that is the meaning of belief in the Quran when it says you should believe something, that you act accordingly. The 5 fundamental beliefs of Islam are listed here. And how those 5 beliefs should be manifested practically in our lives is now what I will go through briefly. The first is belief in Allah. In Surah Baqarah, Muslims have also been told in the Quran, have also been told to say, Sibgat Allah wa man asanu min Allah sibga wa nahnu lahu abidun, which translates as, we take Allah's color, and who is better than Allah at coloring, and we are His worshippers. Verse 138 of chapter 2. So to worship Allah means to imbue yourself with His color, to dye yourself with His colors. And what this means is that just as Allah is Rabbul Alameen, who meets all our needs for our development, we should similarly try to help other people to make progress in their lives. Just as Allah is merciful, we should be merciful to others. Just as Allah is Malik-e Yawmiddin. Now, Malik-e Yawmiddin is the great judge who applies corrective measures to people, for their own benefit. So we also should try to correct others where they have gone wrong, but do it only out of justice and for their benefit, and not to demean them or to look down upon them. And again, just as Allah is forgiving, something which is stated many times in the Holy Quran, we too should be forgiving to others. In this connection, the Holy Quran says, Wal yafu wal yasfahu Allah tuhibbuna an yaghfir Allahu lakum wallahu ghafurur rahim, which translates as, pardon and overlook. Do you not love that Allah should forgive you? And Allah is forgiving, merciful. Chapter 24, verse 22. In this, Muslims are told to pardon and overlook others who have done some wrong to you, because you love that Allah should forgive you, so you should forgive them. So belief in Allah means to act in our lives according to these attributes of Allah. And this brings to an end study number 19. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Quranil Azim wa nafarna wa iyyakum bil ayati wal zikril hakim innahu qala jawadun karimun malakun barur raufur rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.